stainless steel. And,
I don't do it.
so you touch that.
Are you good to go?
Yeah.
Right. Sorry to interrupt, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to start by taking roll from my left, please.
B.G. Zimmerman.
Ellen Johnston.
Rob Dumas.
Elida Snow.
Ron Goodman. Tony Greenbaum.
Walter Snyder.
Tony Katzner.
Okay. At this time, I invite any member of the audience to make a comment on any non-agenda item. Okay. Moving on to the superintendent's final evaluation. Under Montana law, the Board of Trustees may go into closed session to consider matters of individual privacy. At this point, I believe the evaluation of Mr. Goodman is a matter that exceeds the merits of public disclosure. Mr. Goodman, would you prefer your evaluation to open or closed?
Close, please.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to have to ask you all leave as we're going into executive session.
Thank you for coming.
For Ron, a 2-year contract. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, then we are going to move on to the superintendent evaluation process. So the second meeting happened because I did not realize in the board evaluation thing that it stated we needed to have 2 executive sessions. So I'm going to pass paperwork out to you for you guys to look at. The first one is the board policy, the way it's not policy, excuse me, the board process, the way it is written now. The second one was the one that I kind of came up with because I don't feel like a second executive session is necessary. Do I have enough for everybody?
And we never used to have 2.
No.
Right, so I'm
Something happened when we went from
regular
Word to
form,
Google.
right, Word to Google, right, exactly. So, and like I said, unfortunately, I didn't read that, so I'm not sure. Did I
I've
give
got
you?
an extra page here, I think.
Oh, you have the page that I need. That was the
Okay.
statement that I used there. That is unnecessary. So I didn't know what you guys' thought was it. I pretty much just took it and we rewrote it so that it just stated 1. So I would give you kind of how it works this year. I would give you the evaluation tool, which was the survey questions, and you would fill it out, get it back to me. I would compile the what's the word I'm looking for? Summary, there we go. And then we would meet together and discuss our decisions with Ron.
I don't understand why we need to.
Why we need to what?
Why we need 2 TWO.
2, yes, okay.
Isn't it, the way I'm reading it, is we're all supposed to meet without Rob. That's how I read it. Some people don't like, obviously, saying stuff in front of Ron, that's fine. And so it gives everybody a chance then to talk freely, and then you compile, right? And according to this first page, then you compile, you present it to Ron, and then we all meet together like we did. That's how I'm under the understand, that's how I'm reading.
Yes, that is how
The original process.
that is
So
how the
that's why
original
we meet-
process went.
So that's the idea, right, to meet in private, just the board, no Ron, or whoever the superintendent may be, it doesn't matter, right? Then the board can just kind of kick back and speak freely, I guess. Because you might want to be more reserved when the person you're talking about you around.
I'm getting lost somewhere, Cody.
Am I losing you guys?
No, so in this current one, that's kind of what it
Current
says.
one, yes. I'm saying we don't need that.
Well, BG and so I'm not gonna argue. Once again, I'll lose this battle, and I know that. But especially if we're gonna approve a contract for 2 years, I agree. Whatever. You know,
Well,
like it's already kind of washing it away. You're washing it. The whole process, in my opinion, because if he's good for 2 years, why do I care about evaluation next year?
because we still have the ability, if he's not doing his job, we can do something about it. It will cost us, but we can do something about it.
But you see what I mean? It just seems watered down now to me, to where
Well,
If you're gonna do a
it's,
contract for 2 years, I don't really care about this anymore. That's my read on it. I mean, that's really my read. I'm not.
but I'm sorry, I'm slow, okay?
You're great.
What is the difference in having, the reason we did this one is because of the misunderstanding, and it gave you and Tony a chance.
Yeah, appreciate it, actually.
But usually the whole board is here when we do an evaluation.
So,
I mean, there's always illnesses or out of town work things, but usually it's the whole board. We've had time to do the evaluations, we've read over things, we can discuss things with Ron or with someone on the board carefully, and then we come together.
but by doing two, it gives us all a chance to have an executive input, right?
I don't see any reason to have to.
Whoa.
I feel like I can say everything.
Evaluation for years and years and years with one. Through 3 superintendents that I've worked with, I don't see a reason to have to.
I think what Cody's saying is the purpose to have two would be that the first one didn't include Ron, so it's just the board, the seven of us discussing everything, talking about it, and then.
So we're not legally allowed to discuss.
We can't do that.
Oh, okay,
people I
that's what I'm
don't
just,
think. I don't-
that's the way I'm understanding
Yeah.
it. Not
Be-
Speaking for.
It is how it reads, Cody,
Yeah.
and I understand that, and this, I'm not sure exactly where it was originally created or why it was originally created that way. But we understand that that is what it says, but I'm presenting something different tonight for discussion, because,
But I'm saying that this is a pro, right? And I like the idea here.
well, we would have to double check that we can do that, because I don't believe that we can get together and discuss his private matter
No
without
decisions
him.
are being made.
Without
I
him
think
here.
no decisions are being made. It's just a private executive session with board only. No decision is being made until we have a meeting with him. So how are you breaking that rule? It's a question.
We can't go into executive session unless.
So the issue on that would be, is the board can go into a meeting and for basically legal issues. I don't, because that whole point of everything that the board does has to be in the open. I don't, if they could, I'd be good if they could go ahead and just have some.
Every decision has to be made in the open,
Decision.
but I think you can have discussions.
About people's private
I don't know about that.
appointments,
I'm just
that's
saying,
where
you
you
can
get a
have
little.
executive.
That's where
I
I
don't
think
think-
if you could have like a private with just the seven of us, or whoever the seven are sitting here, and then, just have that, I mean, legally, again, not just for the sake of the sake, and then have a second one where Ron's present, where we do what we did last time and then this time.
So
And
you
that
feel
would-
like you would prefer to
That
have two?
would, I would prefer that, or I would be okay with that. If we're just doing this, what we've done, then it's just, I mean, we're just hammering around with the same stuff just twice. Well, congratulations, Ron. You know what I mean? So I would rather just, if Ron's gonna be here, let's just do it once.
Well,
But
that's
yeah.
that's my presentation
Yeah.
for the second one, is just meeting with Ron, discussing our individual responses to the, okay, thank you, to the
So for the board to go into,
evaluation.
for the board to go into executive session, the reason they give on that is if it's legal strategy.
Under.
That's what it says. They can do that for an evaluation. I don't care. I just think you maybe make sure that the board is in a spot where they can have conversation and it's not recorded, that kind of stuff. And
Okay, so here is what this says. Sorry, Ron, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Under the Montana law, the board may meet in closed session to consider matters of individual privacy. The possibility of a closed session shall be noted on respective agenda item appearing on the public notice published in accordance with this policy. The individual whose right of privacy will be considered during the possible closed session shall be notified in writing of the meeting. Before closing a meeting, the presiding officer must determine that the demands of the individual privacy exceed the merits of a public disclosure and so state publicly before going into closed session. The board may also go into closed session to discuss strategy to be followed with respect to litigation. So that's where that comes in.
That's the reason why the board can be by itself.
Yeah, so the first one opens it up. I mean, it doesn't specify the superintendent has to be there, it just speaks to the board.
Well, it says we have to notify them.
No,
So
they don't have to be present, right?
I don't know. I feel like I need to look into that,
Yeah,
but
that is some clarification.
yeah.
Just because, I mean,
I don't care how that works either way, but I do know the reason why the board can ever get together without like having an executive session where nobody else gets to see what's taking place, nobody else gets that becomes when you're strategizing on a lawsuit.
Right. Or these situations. I'm
Yeah,
just not sure if
those
you
or-
have to be present or not. Like, I'm not sure if we can discuss.
I would have to be, I think it would be present.
It doesn't say.
It says you have to be notified, but
You have to be notified.
let me double check. I will ask for clarification on that.
Yep.
Okay, so that being said, I guess my question is, do you guys, I mean, we've done it with one for so many years. As new board members, do you feel like one can be achieved and with Ron, you know? I mean, I can tell Ron, I'm not shy about
Personally, don't
telling
care,
Ron.
because either way, I don't care whether you're sitting here or not, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say.
Right,
I don't, and it's not taking it away from anybody else. I understand sometimes it's easier to have a discussion when somebody's not present. And I understand it, and I get it, but I personally, for me, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, no matter whether Rod's sitting here or not.
Right.
So I
But
don't.
isn't that part of being a board member? Being able to say something, not trying to tear him down.
Yeah.
Not trying to build him up, just having an honest conversation, which I think we're trying to do.
And I think that's not I think it's a good idea to go ahead and have the board have that discussion about, performance and everything. Just make sure that you can do it. That's my-
so
Yeah,
you would be in support of prior? Like meeting prior without you?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I just my experience over the years is if the board has to do everything in open. The only
Right.
reason that they have is if it's litigation.
Right, but this
That's-
form does
That
say,
form would specify the superintendent.
It does
has to
say
be there. It does, it's not that hard. I don't know.
but you're the one saying I should always
I
check,
know.
right?
Yeah.
You
I
always tell
guess
me,
so.
make sure.
100%, but I'm saying, if you read that, I would always verify.
Okay.
For sure.
Why would,
But I'm saying, just read it on its face. I mean, it tells you really clear.
And I understand that. I'm just trying to decide if we actually need
Where did this come
two
from? Where did this come from?
or if we actually need one. So this first one is the one that is currently in your evaluation form.
Mhm.
The second one is the one that I redid.
why would we want to discuss things without, take Ron out of it, a superintendent? I just need to understand that.
It allows people.
We would say things to each other about the superintendent, we wouldn't say to them, is that?
I don't know. I'm saying
Well, that-
everything I want to say, but I don't know that everybody is the same as me.
I am.
I am.
I think, like we said, we'd say anything, in either meeting. I think the only, one of the benefits of that, not even, someone who doesn't want to say something in front of Ron, would be to kind of streamline this process. So when Ron's in the room, we actually have a list of 10 things and we could be like, hey, Ron, this is what we came up with as a board. Here's strengths, weaknesses. This is what, we kind of discussed, and then go from there. So that way we're not like, just free fall.
The only problem with that then is we have documented decision making.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have.
That's how I'm looking at
Yes,
that.
we
Yeah,
have.
I guess
It's documented decision
'Cause it-
making in something.
It does go down here to say no formal action shall take place
Yeah.
during
Yeah,
this.
Oh,
meeting.
And I was thinking streamline too, but then it's becomes.
This one?
Yeah.
Stacy just
You
got
get
it.
like this gray
It's a
area or
false-
something that,
it's a false.
Here's the rest of it. I just had closed session on it.
Well,
It's actually a policy.
I don't know that recommendation. The decision is hiring the superintendent.
I have-
decisions.
Right.
I can recommend, but my recommendation might be different than your recommendation. And so then let us tally it all up, and you got 3 recommendations that say this and 2 that say that. That's not a decision, those are recommendations. That can be made.
Right.
A decision can't be made. Oh, we're gonna
But
find
a
it.
decision
Oh, can't
to,
do
what
that.
Paul was saying,
Mhm.
was a decision to, these are things to work on.
I think when,
Yeah, that's recommendation.
when we see our lawyer, we need to talk with her sometime.
Well, that would be just to clarify.
course,
If
she
we
don't
want to
speak
do,
dialect.
if we want to do just one, we don't need, I don't need to really
To
clarify anything. That's why I'm
Okay.
like, we need to kind of make a decision on which way we think we want to go.
Yeah, so my take on that would be is that the board is gonna be in a closed spot. The question is, why do they need to do that? And I think
Yes.
that's gonna go down to. I don't care how that takes place, but I just, my understanding and all that is, if you're dealing with a legal situation and you need to get together and make some decisions, that's the issue where board can sit down and do what they need to do.
My impression of this too is that I'm in favor of having one meeting, and the reason for it is that I feel that it's of more value to get it out in the open front of the individual you're talking about or speaking with, and that questions can be asked, and, you know, misunderstandings can be guided and corrected, and so on. I'm just not in favor of evaluations where I like having discussions about things, but I don't know that the board in a whole, I don't know. I just think it's of more value. Like I said, personally, I have no problem if I had something to provide or to say. I'm going to do it in front of everyone. And I would hope that everybody's here for the right reason. Everybody would do that. And I think they will. Right now,
Yeah.
there might be a board member sometime that might not. But I think everybody here does.
I mean, that's, in my opinion, part of being a school board member, you know, it's one of our responsibilities, so.
Supposed to be.
Okay, so I guess I need a motion to change the process of the evaluation to one, because it has to be in the affirmative. So it would be to one
To,
executive session.
okay, do we have to get rid of this first?
I don't think so.
Or
It would
just
just be a
change it to-
change in process. Yeah.
A process or a policy.
It's not a policy, because
It's
it's
a-
literally
it's
just the
process.
process of the board evaluation of the superintendent.
Are we ready?
I
I
think so.
move that we accept one evaluation meeting for the superintendent.
Executive session.
Executive session, yes. Well, he has to decide that, really.
Right,
But you can-
but,
yes.
yeah. Okay, I need a second, please.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Tony to change the superintendent evaluation process to only do one executive session. Any other questions or comments? My only thought is, please look at this and see if you guys like that. We can still kind of change that if you didn't get a chance to go over it. But that is the process of one, so. Okay, any other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
All right.
Motion passed. Okay. Ms. DG, would you like to adjourn the meeting?
I would love to adjourn the meeting. I so move.
Sorry. I have a motion by BG and a second by Ellen to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passed.
Waiting for
Okay, I
Ellen.
need to collect those from Tony and Cody. So